Yo, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. GM, welcome to the space. Hope you had a great evening. Today we're going to be talking a lot about Cardano. There's a lot of hype going on with Cardano right now. So let's give it a little spotlight, right? I know that there's a really, really good, strong community, very loyal, and it's growing. Obviously, Ethereum is the #1 market cap for NFTs at a particular moment. But tell you what, we've been talking about this lately, and if you guys agree with me, Cardano is probably poised to put themselves into the top 5 by market cap in the next bull cycle. I think there's going to be a couple, legacy projects that rise from, their current positions up there. Obviously, we'll see something new show up. We always do. But really excited to learn more about what's happening in the Cardano ecosystem. Guys, just so you know, I am also streaming this to YouTube, and I think it's streaming to Twitter as well, video-wise. So if you want to join the conversation, you are more than welcome to come up on stage for Twitter Space. But if you want to be on video, let me know, and I can shoot you a DM link to the StreamYard, and then we can bring you up on camera. And it makes probably the video version a little bit more interesting, because I can tell you, I've done this twice now where I multi-stream it to YouTube, and watching myself on a Twitter Space, and if like goes on like a couple minute rant, and it's just me just looking into the distance. It's kind of strange. So, that is what it is. But anyway, what's going on, guys? Let's take a look at a couple things in the Cardano ecosystem. While we wait for more people to pop in here, again, feel free to request to come on up and talk. If you've got if you got insight into what's going on in the Cardano ecosystem, and then let's just that'll start the conversation. So, really quick, we'll go through some facts and figures, if you will. Just pulled up Coin Market Cap. Currently, Cardano is sitting at number 9. And I had mentioned earlier, I think that we're probably going to go into the top 5 in the next cycle, which should be fairly easy to do. If you look at it's got a 10.8 billion to get in there. It's got to get to a little over 40 billion, 42.5. Now, these again, that's a stable coin. That's USD coin. Now, I wish that, we could just forget about those. Like, there's no reason for that even to factor into the market cap, but it is what it is. And so for a true coin, the top 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Dogecoin at 12 billion. So it's going to be very easy if you were to take away the stables for that to be an actual top 5 by market cap. But actually to make it, with stables included, we got to get into the 40 billions, which again, I think is going to be very simple to do. Very, very simple. So let's look at Cardano though. Let's look at the coin before we get into the NFT stuff, because I think that's important. Obviously, you got to have the coin to buy the NFT, right? So 31 cents, 31.5 cents. I got to tell you what, again, I've been saying this is going to be one of my biggest buys for loading up the bags for the next cycle. 31 cents. 31 cents. Are you kidding me? This thing's got a chance to, and I think conservatively, we've said this before, get into the $4, $5, $7 range. If everything kind of fires that's supposed to in the next cycle. So let's see where it goes. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just some friendly opinion. These are things that I like to look at every day. I like to look at the crypto charts, just like you guys do. So let's see what else we got here. Anything to note about Cardano other than its price at 31.5 cents? Anything in the news lately, guys? Let's see, Crusader. If you guys want to come up again, I don't think you were here when I said it first. I'm doing the multi-stream thing, so if you want to be on cam today, let me know, and I'll shoot you the StreamYard link, and we'll get that thing rolling. But just going to get through some Cardano information, and then let's talk about the NFTs. And if Glazed Alex, I'm gonna follow you back right there. You've got a JPEG Junkie PFP. So we do know that Justin and Deezy were behind that. My those guys are my homies over there at the Hit Network. I don't work there anymore. I'm not part of that, but definitely still friends. So if you want to come up and talk about, your experience with that, come on up. Anybody? Let's see. I was looking at OpenCNFT.io, just looking at what's the hottest stuff, and I know it's cornucopias, guys. We when I was working with Meta Money doing that stuff, we interviewed Rob and Josh a couple times with cornucopias. I love that platform. I love those guys. I think what they're doing is really cool. Kind of some of the things that we had talked about off cam. With those guys, with the potential of what the platform is going to be able to do. Super excited. I got some things in the works with some other guys doing some projects that once that's more of a fully functioning metaverse, like we're going to be doing some really cool stuff. So really excited to get into that. But Cornucopias, that's one of my favorite. And again, I don't really know a whole lot about the Cardano ecosystem here. But I do know a little bit, and Cornucopias again is one of my favorite. Let's take a look and see what I got in my wallet, and we'll just go over that really quick. So yeah, a couple Cardano NFTs here. I have some really nice cornucopias lands. I've got a mythic medium and a rare large, and then a couple commons. I got a large common and a large medium. So going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff in that ecosystem when the time is right. I got my JPEG Junkie. I got a Virtua Cardano Island land deed. I got my Block Bones. That's my homies over there at Virtual Flame Studios. If you guys know anything about Virtual Flame Studios, those guys got their start over on the VeChain ecosystem, where I do a little bit of stuff too as well. I mean, it's another one like the Cardano ecosystem where it's young, it's fresh, it's not large, but I'll tell you what, like the strength of the community is massive. So if you've not checked out VNFTs with the V fam, make sure that you do that. There's definitely some cool people, some cool projects. A new marketplace like just relaunched like yesterday or today, Black. So you got to check that out. It was typically World of V and VC, but now there's a third one. It looks pretty cool. UI looks pretty sweet. Was just looking at it last night or this morning. I can't remember all. Everything blends together now. But and then I got recently a Cardano proxy. And I think I was in one of the spaces, and what they were talking about really resonated with me. So obviously, that's one of my favorite things about being in Web3 in this community is that if you do pop into a Twitter space with a bunch of people and you really like what you hear, you can join that community, and then all of a sudden you're making fast friends with people, and your network grows, and maybe it's a mental health space or whatever it is. So what is going on, Crusader? What's going on, Glazed? How we doing?
Pretty good in yourself.
Chilling. I make that mistake often where I say hey to multiple people at once and then let you guys talk over yourself so no one can understand what anyone says. So let's start with you, Glaze. You first. What is going on, man? What's your Web3 story?
You know what? My Web3 story, I just got in late 2020 and I started buying tokens. And once I came across NFTs, it changed everything. I decided there has to be one thing you have to be good in as far as the space, and I chose NFTs. So I started with ETH. That shit's a graveyard. I think I have Pluto Alliance and a couple other artwork, more like artwork kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Cardano is where I'm at. I think, unfortunately, with everything going on, it doesn't seem like it's a perfect time to be coming into the space. But in actuality, it really is. I had another experience. I mean, I really did take in everything that was being said last year, end of last year. So I decided to sell everything off and just hold my fiat. And as soon as I started seeing all these NFTs popping up and seeing people selling off their rare NFTs, I started picking up stuff. I have JPEG Junkies. I just got an ADA Inmates. I don't know if you guys have heard that one. That one's amazing. The community is so great. I mean, fun, interactive. It's actually just minted their death row pass last weekend. JPEG Junkies is amazing.
What
Just
did you say? What did you say that
people,
was called? ADA Inmates?
ADA Inmates, yeah. They just did their death row pass. They're gonna be doing their inmate mints in February, but if you check it out, the Discord is just great, 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 great. And I hear this going out around a lot that the community makes a project, and I agree. I think the community really does a number, and as far as bringing people in and getting the hype on and the team does its job too by providing the utility and all the fun stuff that they do for the community. But I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on right now. If you really dig in and, you know, dive in as, you know, deep, you will get some good stuff right now. But
Absolutely.
I mean, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much, I mean, the junkies are amazing. They just did their airdrop of Charlie, which is awesome. I think exposing people to different tokens is really, really good, because a lot of people don't know what's out there. Either one, they only know ETH tokens. They only know, I mean, as far as like the main whatever's on Coinbase, but they don't know that there's native tokens for Cardano. They don't know that there's native tokens for Polkadot. So that really does help the community out, and I'm really impressed by that. I heard you mention Block Bones. I'm on that one. I'm trying to see what's going on with them. I jumped in on the AMA the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and they were saying they had a lot of new stuff coming up. So I'm waiting for that. I'm really excited for that. But in all around, um, even with everything that's going on, I'm having a blast. I mean, it's all about experience and knowing the market, and we have the ups and we have the downs, and right now it's the down, and I mean, we have to be versatile and be able to evolve and come out stronger from this. So I'm really excited for 2024. And I'm saying a lot, but I mean, it's a good morning.
I love it, man. I think that you're right on. And if you're talking about 2024 being the in line with the Bitcoin cycle, I fully agree, man. We got like a year to figure it out, and we can actually. I know that we can do this. I do like checking this out. The Bitcoin halving cycle, and let's see, Bitcoin halving
Should be like in March or April of 2024, something like that.
Yeah, I remember the last time I saw it, it was like here we go, 480 days, 5 hours, 15 minutes, and 40 seconds. That's how long we got until the next, roughly until the next Bitcoin halving. It says the ETA is April 6th of 2024. So yeah, you got like but obviously it runs up, leading up to that. So we'll have a few months of activity, when things start to rumble before we see that parabolic move. At least that's typically how it's gone. So, you know, being able to give yourself about a year to stack up your chips before you got to really start paying attention to the action. And then I'll tell you what, man, 2024 into 2025 is going to be awesome.
So you're saying we got a chance?
I am saying that we definitely have a chance, and we are going to make it. And somebody we say this. I think in most of the spaces, it's if you're still here, if you haven't capitulated, you're probably not going to. And so there's a good chance that you're going to make it, as long as you just don't fuck it up. Like guys, you guys know me. I've talked about this. I fucked up this last bull run leverage trading. I lost it all. I screwed it up. But that didn't stop me. I'm still here. I'm stacking. I'm building. I'm growing. And that's the moral of the story is don't screw it up. Like you buy when people are fearful and you sell when they're greedy, and that's you cannot lose with that strategy. You literally cannot. And so it should take 2 bull cycles to make things happen. So I got like 8 years left in me, right? I think that's a lot of people are going to be in that position. So.
Yeah, dude. Another great point to what you were just saying right now is the fact that you 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 can be a builder, right? Like you don't just have to be a consumer in the space, because the space is so young that you can start building. And when you become a builder in the space, you can make tons of everything you've lost back, right? A lot quicker. And this gives you the opportunity to shift away from the consumer mentality of just, buying NFTs and collecting NFTs is cool, but outside of that, become an entrepreneur. This is your chance to to join a space that's early on, that has tons of potential, that can literally lead you to any path in the future that you want it to lead you to, and at the same time make a lot of money while doing it. So I definitely think there's a lot of opportunity, and if you can flip that switch and stop just being a consumer and also become a builder and entrepreneur, then this is definitely the space.
Oh yeah, and like you said, man, and that's the most important thing. Is like, this isn't a bear market. This is the build market. This literally is that time. And you see, and now that I've been through a couple cycles, man, it's just really apparent that that's like the move, right? You build. You don't. I mean, like, what are you going to do right now? Nothing's really going up. If you catch something, it's definitely a spec play, or things are moving today, I guess. So you're still going to see some action either way. And if you know how to like short the market, and if you know how to do that stuff, like, yeah, you can make money in any kind of market. But like that, this isn't a trader's market right now, for like the normal person. If you're a professional, like, it's different. But this is the time to build. This literally is the time to get together with some like-minded people. There's a couple of people behind the scenes. Crusader, I think you're going to be part of that as well. You had reached out. We really want to like build a massive like media company that literally like telegraphs the right message about this industry, so that we can be kind of a singular unified voice of how we want things to go, and the messaging that comes out to people, and how we onboard people, and how things look and feel. Because again, like, a lot of times, there's too much technicalities that goes way over people's head. And if we're trying to onboard people, like, we just got to remember back to when we started. Like, remember how like scared you were to send any kind of crypto your first couple times? You just got to
Dude,
remember.
100%.
We got to remember that that's what we're onboarding, people that are going to go through that. So it can't be like, just blah blah blah, do this, and you're like, wait a second, that's fucking scary, man. That's all my money.
Yeah, and back when we started, right, there was like no YouTube content. There was like two or three people. You still didn't know if you could trust these people or not. Like, was this information even valid? Right now, we've got tons of content out there. Now it's just about filtering through that content and getting to the good stuff. And like you said, right, it's the onboarding of the new people. People have been here long enough already, can do all these things and feel comfortable. But right, it took me like 5 years to convince my parents to start investing in crypto as a retirement fund. Talking about it every single day, right? And I still most of the time just manage their stuff for them. Like, they don't send anything from one place to their hardware wallet or anything on themselves. I manage it for them because they just can't understand, and they're not very tech savvy and stuff. So I can just imagine all these other new people jumping in, feeding the same thing. And who do I trust? Who do I listen to? Well, what should I do? So there's going to be tons of questions and people lost all over the place.
Yeah, I say, my same thing. I got my mom into crypto. She's a hodler. She's not a trader. She's not, she doesn't flip any NFTs or anything. She just buys some crypto and holds on to it. And that's we're going to Disney. Our family's going to Disney at the end of December over the New Year for my niece. She's like in the choir, and so she's performing at all the parks. So we're going down there as a huge family. There's like 20 of us when we roll deep. Just it's me, like my mom, my siblings, and all of our kids. We're like just a gang of 20 awesome, amazing wildness. But so we're going down to Disney, and I have to get a hardware wallet to help my mom get her crypto off Coinbase. And obviously, we know Coinbase is fine, but at the end of the day, like, the FDIC is the FDIC, and what are you going to call customer service and ask for your money if something happens? No. So, in preaching and kind of living up to the word, I said to him, "Mom, here." Because it's not very easy, but we're going to get everything shifted off the wallet there on Coinbase and into somewhere that she's got the keys of, so that now she can control. And it'll be, I know phone calls and discussions of what to do and how to do things, but at the end of the day, it's the right move. But it's all about the onboarding, and kind of going back to what we're talking about with Cardano. Knowing that the market cap is literally going to explode, that means that there's going to be a lot of new people onboarded into that ecosystem. So, that's one of the things that, like, I really, in creating content and kind of like finding this new direction in chapter with where I'm going, I really want to talk to the people that are in the Cardano ecosystem. I want to know what's going on with the metaverses there. Obviously, I know with Cornucopias, but there's more. There's Pavia. There's like the Boss Cat one. There's a couple that I want to know what's going on there, because I'm very well versed in the metaverse stuff for Ethereum. But I don't really know much about the other spots on the Cardano ecosystem. So if anybody's got anything to say on that, that'd be wonderful, because I would love to know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't got anything for the metaverses in Cardano, but I got some stats for Cardano's just network in general, that I have pulled up here. So like, there's been a total of 1,151 projects being built into the ecosystem, with 108 of them already up and running. There's been an increase of 90,000 native tokens on Cardano that increases it to 7.2 million. There's been a number of transactions on the network that has increased by 500,000 in the past week to 56.3 million. Cardano's Plutus platform now has 4,347 smart contracts, with that's a 10.2% increase in the past week alone. They're obviously building a desktop version of their Lace wallet, and Cardano's developers on GitHub, their contributions actually topped every single other project out there in importing contributions. So there's a lot of building that's happening on the Cardano network in the middle of this, bear market.
Wow. That's some movement, man. And it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's only been around for a year, right? Smart contracts and all the stuff that's been happening in Cardano's only been around a year. September of last year is when it got released.
I think that, and it's an interesting way to put this, and maybe you understand what I'm saying, but maybe to their fault, they didn't market, they didn't spend any money on marketing to get people interested in Cardano. Like, it's been all very organic, all very slow. I think it was they kind of built quietly in the backgrounds, and I think and I said to a fault, but and I see both sides of the coin. But it's just the way that it works, and I think that that's probably, in my opinion, if now that I'm like thinking about it more, I think it's probably like a really good thing that they sat kind of quietly building, not trying to bring too much hype. Because like, look at Solana, right? Solana spent so much fucking money to bring attention to their blockchain, and there was problems. Now, come to find out, maybe some of those problems were manipulation, but still, that's what happens when you have too much attention on you and things go wrong, is that anything bad, I think, becomes magnified extremely. What's up, AI? Someone do?
Oh man, I saw Cardano NFTs and I'm like, yippee! Jay Chains was good, my friend. How you doing? Jim and everybody. Blockchains. Pleasure meeting you, Glaze. Pleasure meeting you. See, we got Moonwalkers in the building, Turbo Major in the building. How y'all doing this morning?
GM, sir. It's another day in crypto paradise, in a Web3 world. We're living it.
Indeed, that's true. That's true.
What's going on, man? Were you at Decentral with
Yeah.
that shield? With that shield, I just saw your picture.
No, that was Captain Haiti was there. That was his shield. So he's in the picture. Like, if you check my bio, he's like in the picture to the right of me. Me and Captain Haiti, we got a long-standing relationship. Down here in the South Florida community with Cardano. He was like one of the first like main endorsers, like early blockchain days. If you've been following Cardano, there was like a big article with Captain Haiti and Charles, and he's pushing a gentrification program to help assist and combat with the gentrification of Little Haiti. He created a tokenized asset on Cardano, a native token called the Captain Haiti token, which if you in certain outlets inside of Little Haiti, you can actually utilize and get like discounts on services and things of that nature. They were building a blockchain center, technology center in Little Haiti as well, to help onboard and educate the people of Little Haiti to crypto technology. I mean, it's, to me, like, it's one of those projects where it's like you hear about it and you're like, this is where you really like fell in love with the idea of crypto and Web3. And I like to see more like attention being brought to it. But it's a struggle out here, especially during build markets.
I mean, it is.
Let's go, dude.
It is, but we find that we're with people that want to be here, and so it's finding collaboration opportunities, networking opportunities, ways that we can shape. I like to say the industry. I don't know if we have that kind of a reach, but our own lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we can change our lives. Anyone, if you're listening right now, like Web3, blockchain, crypto, NFTs, this is gonna fucking change your life. So play the game, play it right, play it smart. What's up? I see we got a couple more people that popped in here. Hey, thank you all for joining us. Welcome, GM. We are also multi-streaming this to a couple platforms. So if you are interested in hopping on camera, shoot me a DM. Or if you're on stage right now and you want to do that, just say, hey, shoot it to me, and I will send you the link to StreamYard in DM right now, and we'll get you loaded up. What's up, Turbo?
Yo, what up, Chains, GM family? No, I got my start in Cardano. I think I hold like 106 NFTs from Cardano. Most of them are just like community projects, and that was kind of the thing. I noticed that my heart and the love was in Cardano, but the money was really being made in ETH. So I always felt like I was working in ETH, but I lived in Cardano. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. I can definitely understand that. ETH is again, that's where the action was, and I know that you've gotten yourself involved with some communities, in the Cardano ecosystem that you and I spoke about, and so like that totally makes sense. But knowing that ETH is just where the action has been, that I can jive on that. What's up, Kenton? Awesome.
Yo, listen. Oh, awesome. Sorry, if you had your hand raised first, please go ahead. We can take turns here.
No, we just chat here.
Yo, it's your boy Awesome as JL, aka the biggest music artist in the metaverse. Major shout out to Jay Chains. Thanks so much for having me upstage, and thanks for having dope spaces, man. These spaces are fire. I just stumbled upon you here recently. The homie AI Love put me on, to your spaces, and I've been loving them, man. I love the vibe and the energy. As far as Cardano, that's like my home blockchain. We like to call it home blockchain because we're all over the place. Cross chain. Yeah. We cross chain, with everything, but that's our home chain. But yeah, I actually started out on Binance Smart Chain. So I was messing with a lot of the altcoins over there. Like I was messing with the altcoins during altcoin season. And then, after that kind of dried up, I had already been, building a Cardano bag for a while. And I just kind of looked around like, hey, I wonder if Cardano has NFTs, because I tried my hand at Ethereum first. The gas prices were crazy during the bull market at that time. And I was like, man, how can I get in with this? How can I learn, and take those type of L's with these gas prices? I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And, so I started searching for Cardano NFTs. And when I looked around, I seen that they had NFTs. I'm like, oh man, I'm all in. They got low gas prices, low fees and stuff like that. But what I didn't expect is once I became a part of the community, like I don't know, man, it just became like a family. You know what I mean? When I came over there, and I started making friends and things of that nature. And it just blossomed to what it is now. It's just an amazing vibe. And of course, we got guys all over the other blockchains too as well. But yeah, that's why I stuck with Cardano as far as going over there with the NFTs.
I love it,
man.
I love the low entry point too, and you got to think about that too. Like how many people got priced out of a Bored Ape because the gas fee was like $100, like or $200. Like I wasn't going to spend that much money in gas. No way, not to mint a JPEG. That was insane at that point. Fuck. But having the lower entry point, I think, is a great thing for, especially when we onboard guys, because you got to think like, as more people come into this industry, there's just going to be more onboarding, and this is a great entry point. And I know that the community is very welcoming as well. What's up, Kenton?
Yo, thanks for having me up here. Awesome. Thank God I let you go first. I didn't know we had one of the biggest musicians in the metaverse up here. Holy shit. Thank goodness I used my manners. But yeah, why are you giving so much credit to Jay Chains? He's rocking
an Emmy White.
What's that?
That was that. Hang on, that was me. Don't worry.
I was gonna say just he's rocking an MAYC up here on a Cardano blockchain space. I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, J-Chains, you know who I met yesterday? I met somebody, and I don't know if he's bluffing, man, but he told me he has $500,000 worth of Cardano, and that made me think, holy shit, should I be a bullish on Cardano too? And now I wake up and you're running a Cardano NFTs only space. My tinfoil hat, it's shaking. Yeah, dude, I'm starting to think Cardano is going to be on this chart for a while. I honestly at first was like, what the frick is this coin? They're like, what are they doing? They're not even public. And then Cardano NFTs, they swoop over Twitter and boom, now we got you, an ETH maxi, pumping these. What's going on here? Is there a switch happening?
Jay Chains, he's a maxi. I couldn't tell when I met him, man. There's chains in his name, so it's like plural, it's like 2 chains, but he's got I just pictured, before I met him, I didn't even realize I was next to him, but before I met him, I just was like, 2 chains got all these chains, so I'm thinking Jay Chains, he's got all these chains, and when I met him in person, it was crazy, because he actually had that multi-chain energy, damn, Jay Chains, you never told me about your ETH maximism.
I'm chain agnostic. I have a mutant as my PFP. That's just because you can only attach Ethereum to the Twitter blue thing. That needs to change. And listen, I actually was going to change my PFP the other day. This is going to sound very vain. I understand how vain that I am, and this is going to sound. But it says that when you change your PFP, you lose your blue check mark for a little while. I wasn't going to have that. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to keep this one. And here we go. Talking about Cardano with an ETH PFP. Let's go. Chris,
this is the new meta, folks. This is how we are going to really.
Oh, sorry. That was
I thought we were back in Miami, Jay.
So I don't know. So Chris joined the audio through the Rode thing, but I am getting a wicked echo, and I don't know how to turn that off.
So something needs to be muted. You have two audio.
Soundboard, J-Turn.
Yeah, for the room.
I don't know, but it feels epic.
We're just working out the little audio gremlins. And I did this for weeks. So I'm going to help my guy do it in a day. And my kids are going to be late to school because instead of taking them to school, I'm going to be here doing this. And they're going to be like, Daddy, I need to go to school though. And I'm going to be like, no, J-Chains. Live streaming. Let's go.
Man, I don't know how to get rid of the echo because it's either. Is that better?
How do we do it? I think you got to mute one of the mics.
Can you hear me?
The mic service.
If you guys are in the Twitter Spaces, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh,
you gotta.
I just don't need to hear myself. That's what it was. Is I was hearing my monitor. That was causing the echo.
Yeah, we hear you twice, and then a third time.
No, I can't hear you.
Again.
No, I can't hear you. Oh, my bad, guys. All right.
That was so
I feel
cool,
like
though.
we were in a rave. It felt like
Were we recording? Because if we were recording, me and Jay Chains were headbanging right now.
Oh yeah, that was live streamed.
Guys, I'm scared. What's happening?
We had echoes.
I think we just got evidence of this stuff is actually really hard. So I think my guy should just run my solo, and then I'll come back in, later today, and we'll fine tune it.
What is happening right now? There's echoes all over the place. I think you have your echo
I think
on.
you just have to mute your mic when everybody else is talking.
All right. I think we figured this out. All right. I'm going to pull some people else up that requested to speak. That was insane. That was so crazy with that.
Good, guys? How's everyone doing?
Good. What's up, Damon, man? How are you?
Steady in the ship.
It's always nice to see Cardano NFTs getting a little bit of light. And the blue checkmark thing, I heard that's actually going away for everybody in the short to near future, because I guess how it was decided was sort of fraudulent back with some previous ownership. So don't be afraid about losing those blue check marks. But yeah, I definitely agree. The audio for Streamlabs, StreamYard is difficult to figure out if that's what you're using right now as well, or if that's what's causing that feedback hard time on my streams as well. And it seems like every time you unmute your mic, it kicks in that that echo. So it might be having to do with your audio inputs.
And let me see here now. What I did was I added Chris back into the stream, but muted him in my StreamYard. Now, does your audio still work for you directly, Chris?
If I'm on the space,
He's got to
for
mute
all
one of
50
his
of us.
mics.
Bro, if he don't mute his mic, it's gonna keep echoing, bro. We got it set up
wild.
just making it echo.
That's crazy. All right.
Come here.
All right, we'll try this again later.
This is better than a rave, dude.
I wanted to say I am Legion.
He-
I love it. I'll jump on later. Let's do a stream later.
Let's do that.
Wait,
That sounds
I
like
wanna
fun.
say-
How you been,
we just
Damon?
wanna
You been good?
some-
Yeah, man, loving life. Got a lot of big things happening. Building out the booze-free bars, and kicking it here in Florida.
Nice, man. I got a chance to hang out with Damon. I get a chance to hang out with him at all the conferences that we go to, but in Miami, this was fun. I got to try Kratom and Kava for the first time. And
Miami Southern Florida Classics.
dude, I was paralyzed the next morning. I had so much of it. I also smoked a lot of weed too, and drank some whiskey.
Yeah, they frown against mixing alcohol and the other botanicals, but you'll find, I mean, as you experiment more, which I know that all of us in the crypto space, we're big fans of being the first to experiment and being the first movers in industries. You'll start to grow to like the different products that are offered in the botanical space. And if you ever need any knowledge or help, I'm always happy to entertain.
Absolutely. Love it. I mean, I had a fun time going to these things and learning all about it. There's like, I think, manners that you need to have, like when you drink out of these, were they coconut shells?
Yeah, coconut shells, and we were toasting, and we're doing bulas,
Yeah.
which meant to life, which is the tribal toast in a kava shell. If you have a kava bar near you, go check it out. KAVA kava bar, and definitely a different experience. Not every state has them yet, and if anybody wants to open them, hit me up. I can get you set up.
You're like a wholesaler distributor. You got the lead on like the hot stuff.
Yes, for everything botanical, from your choice of herbs and spices to teas to different products from all around the world. As long as it's natural, we sell it.
Boom.
What is this? Where is it at?
Kava and kratom.
Could you say it one more time? Like, it's kind of breaking up. I was asking, what are you talking about? Where is this at?
They're kava bars. They're a bar where you can catch a buzz without booze. But I don't want to steal the show here. This is not about kava, kratom, CBD, deltas. This is about Cardano, NFTs.
Question is cool, bro.
Well, hey,
Trying to get the alpha.
Hey, what about if you have a token gated club for one of your kava bars, and you have a Cardano NFT, and that's what gets you in? Now we can have that in the conversation.
That might be a possibility. Now, there has been another blockchain that has been wanting to get in on our bar. called Shade Protocol, and they're launching the first private stablecoin. Well, choosably private. You can choose to turn privacy on or off. And they were wanting to be accepted at our bar, but I'm always open to like Cardano NFT membership for, after hours events or different discounts or
Meetups,
even a chance to jump on AMAs or live streams or different events like Gary Vee does. I'm open to that.
Awesome, man. See, listen, you thought that you were up here trying to shill Kava and Kratom, and we may have just solved a business need. You never know that. That's the beauty of Web3,
Right,
man.
and I still didn't figure out where are these bars at. I'm trying to figure out
Kava bars they're basically like Starbucks, like in South Florida.
Bro, I didn't ask what is it. I said where is it.
Oh, I'm sure your map on your phone will tell you where it's at. I don't know. I don't even know where you live, brother.
When you talk to people and you got them direct, you just supposed to go look it up. I'm trying to ask the guy a question. He right here. If I wanted to just go look it up on Google, I'd have did that. But we having a conversation.
Kava bars, you'll find them, sort of shotgun blasted across the U.S., mostly centered in Florida, specifically more South Florida. They're starting to expand up the East Coast, all the way up into New York. There's different pockets of them. Some states say that they don't want it. And that's more your Bible Belt states that believe in fried chicken and alcohol. But outside of those and more free-thinking states, you'll find that Kratom, Kava are widely accepted. And they act as alternatives to pharmaceutical products that a lot of people find relief in. But in some states where alcohol is a main sales product, it is strongly pushed against on the political front with pharmaceutical companies. But yes, just look up Kava Bar near me, Kava, and you can find out where those are located.
Appreciate it.
I did. So, Crib, my apologies. So now I do appreciate, what the answer that you were looking for and what he gave. That was very, very detailed, and I could kind of visualize this map of bloop, 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 things popping up along the East Coast all the way up to New York. So, Damon, great job describing that. Crib, my apologies for saying just look on your phone. Damon's description was much better than look on your phone. What's up, Ken?
So what Cardano NFTs are popping right now? I mean, I've been out of the Cardano NFT space for a little bit. I've been, I hate to say it, I've been looking in the Aptos space, but tell me a little bit about what's popping right now. Anyone know what's hot?
Here we go. I can tell you right now. Just opened up OpenSeaNFT.io, and I went to the 24-hour volume. Lion Legends is up. Their volume is up 4,600%. Jesus Christ, these are some massive numbers. Pavs up 4,500%. I don't know anything. These things could have just launched, so I don't know anything about this. But this is some massive volume spikes. Jeez Louise, thousands of percents all the way down the board here. Interesting.
So when are we making our own Cardano NFTs? Let's start brainstorming.
Hey, let's do a collection.
Well, I am launching a wholesale website for some of the largest botanical products in the country. Maybe we can give discounts or something for those products. We cover Delta 8, CBD, TAS, SAS, Kava, Kratom, all on the website. We can give discounts for NFT holders. We can incorporate a Cardano wallet or Myar wallet or whatever. Not Myar, that's Elron. What is
Nami? Nami or Eternal?
Nami, yeah. Nami or some type of wallet on the website as an authentication, and unlocks discounts or something. I'm always open to ideas.
Yeah, let's
Couldn't it be like a subscription where as long as you're holding your NFT as a, like a collabland verification with the holder on your website, then they get exposure or first right of refusal to purchase any new product that's released or brought on chain for whomever wants to buy it?
It's always an option, but I hope to never run out of product, so there wouldn't really be a need for a first come, first serve. But I think that's thinking in the right direction for
or
a
or
lot
like
of
whatever
websites.
the feature, like if you have a monthly special or a monthly feature, then they get to be your first right of refusal for the special that happens to be with, I don't know, uh, I'm just trying to think out loud and it's not working. Good morning.
No, you're doing a great job. Anytime that you're communicating words out of your mouth hole, that's one step in the right direction. And I think there's things that come out of that might be issues, like say the people that have those, yeah, they might have first right of refusal, but what happens if they don't see the notification? What's the waiting period? How long do I have to wait to start selling product to new members outside of the holdings?
True. And also, what do you do with delivery if they're in a country that they're not allowed to order or whatever may happen?
Well, we ship
Import.
across the world. I mean, I ship it to the UK, and it's not allowed in the UK. Kratom was never taken off their ban list.
is it like a plant, a root?
Yeah, kratom comes from the coffee family, and it is a leaf that's ground up and brewed like a tea. And there is kava. Kava comes from the pepper family, and it's ground up and also brewed like a tea. Kava is a root, where kratom is a leaf, and the leaf has different properties than the root, and vice versa.
Nice.
Okay, so it's just like when with cooking, there are different parts of plants that you use for different flavors and different medicinal purposes. So it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just these are not as educated for the public as others.
Isn't there an
Yeah.
NFT project about those? Is it the Kava chameleons? Is that a thing?
Kava chameleons?
Kava Cardano chameleons? The kratom Cardano chameleons? I don't know. Could be a
If there
thing.
isn't one, there should be one.
Yeah.
I think should be Cardano and coffee, where J Chains gives financial advice, and I take everything under the assumption that if I do what he says, then I will profit, and I could just make breakfast and get my kids to school, and take that financial advice and put it to use. High expectation. You're on the hook, sir.
How can you can you be a self-proclaimed financial advisor?
I think you should be able to.
Right? Like if you just really if you just do nothing but make good decisions, like what's the problem?
I think you could tell yourself a financial consultant, but not advisor. I think it's just the term. But
isn't like an advisor technically
you
just
have
gives
a
it.
few licenses.
But I'm just giving advice, right? I'm an advisor. I'm giving you
but
advice.
It's legal advice. You gotta have some legal licenses from the state and.
But the government's a scam. So I have to pay the scammers in order to tell people to avoid the scammers. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, they give you the worst advice. They
That's
tell
how
you
it works.
avoid crypto, don't get involved. That doesn't make you any money. Come buy this stock over here, and maybe in 10 years you'll get like 5% returns.
Did you guys see the OpenAI chat? And someone inputted how to take down crypto, and they gave you a series of events. The first one was to attack the exchange. The next one was, I believe, government regulation. So it's really pretty much following the trend. I think the powers that be really don't like. I think it's moving faster than what they had anticipated when it comes to adaptation, and they're scared that it really may take off. The only thing that we really need is a really big music artist, independent Web3, and that's why I said music NFTs are the futures. Because once someone sees the monetization power behind that, like truly, like no, not somebody like the Tory Lanez or Bobby Smurder, but a straight Web3 artist from rooter to tutor, man, it's gonna take off. I think that's when people will really start seeing the impact, when fans are able to get shares of the royalties from the artist, from supporting the artist from the beginning. I think that's really going to make a big splash and raise eyebrows and get people thinking twice about what we're doing over here.
Music and gaming.
What?
Yeah, but I was
Would
about
you
to
mind if
say
I butt in
gaming.
here?
Yes, please go ahead, Kenton.
I wanted to say, sorry, who was just speaking on music NFTs? I had my phone screen shut down.
That's me, AI Love, man.
Yo, I want to say this, AI Love. No, so I know a bit on this. Maybe there's people in this room that know more. I just want to say yes, 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 yes. Any artist who's sitting in this room right now can definitely empathize, not just understand, empathize with the fact that it is a complete one-way street for the music industry. It is such a one-way street. There is no going back and down towards the winning side as an artist. They just continually put bulldozers in your way, and they say, no, 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 we're going to push you back to the start. Oh, you're Taylor Swift. We don't really give a damn. We're just going to push to take more percentage of your next album, because actually we think we're going to release it on the best week for it to be a #1 hit, but that's just more money in our pockets. Listen, this whole thing is just deteriorated down to greed. All artists know this. This is no surprise. Ask any promoter, ask anyone from New York, ask anyone from LA. Anyway, that's about as far as my knowledge goes there, but that's why I really want to butt in, because holy shit, music NFTs will definitely inevitably change it for artists. The one caveat to that, and I wanted to throw this into the conversation just to not just agree, but add to this and add some value. I think that the interesting thing, AI Love, is that the other night I was on a space, and these guys, they were all music NFT, like maxis, you know what I mean? And they were like, yeah, we're all going to be streaming from our Web3 apps. And I was like, no, 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 guys, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's YouTube, there is Spotify, and yes, they are the forces of evil. They're stealing all of your money. I get it. I understand. I'm extremely aware they do the same thing to me. TuneCore is a waste of my time. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no money to be made through these streaming platforms. But at the same time, it is very unlikely that there is going to be some massive shift in people literally abandoning these complete free to stream or free to watch or free to listen platforms, even with the ads in between. So I know there's Brave browser and there's other examples and models of Web3-esque things that could solve this issue. But I did want to say, I think music NFTs, I think it's more about blockchain technology making it great for musicians, as opposed to actual NFTs that are like, hey, plug this into your MetaMask wallet and you can play the MP3.
I think it's the access. I would have to argue in contrast
Oh,
to
no,
what
no,
you're
I want to
saying.
hear this. Please go on, go on.
So in contrast to what you're saying, I would say it would be more explicit access, right? Like the ability, like my buddy Crypto Casually, I know he's a Web3 artist, and he's written up a few smart contracts, and then basically what he's going to allow you to do is you'll be able to get behind the scenes. You'll be able to get a special shout out in the song. He'll actually customize the song also for gaming as well. So like my buddy Awesome right here on stage, he has a partnership with Mad Dog Car Club, and he also has a partnership with Bad Fox and Cardano Crocs. So he's creating music for them to use, open source music, where they can actually use this on their websites, their video games. And I think that those levels of access is what you're going to see the tokenized experience of an NFT actually being. So instead of it just being like, for instance, the Metaverse Miami, that's a yearly event, you have a ticket to that. I think they're going to be adding on assets and attributes to that, like video streaming, behind the scenes, collective one-on-one renderings. You know what I'm saying? Like there'll be tiers to where if you do hold this artist NFT, you're going to get one-on-one memorabilia, like how we seen with Moonwalkers and what they're doing with the SAP project. Like, I think that's pretty fire. Like, I just see that over encompassing and over evolving. And then now that being a historical reference point, right? So like future generations, if you're the next the baby artist or the Drake artist, you're going to have that catalog from when they were a premature artist, they didn't have a bag, and that's going to be, that in itself is going to be a collectible. That's what we're doing. It's a digital collectible experience with NFT. So that's where I would argue, in contrast to that, also
No, that
access,
makes sense.
right?
That makes sense.
If
No,
if I started following you early, like Drake, and then think about when you get to the Rolling Loud stages, and now I carried this, or your Rolling Loud performance, I'll be able to access with you.
So, sorry, and then everybody else can go right after this. No, AI Love, I appreciate you replying with that. I kind of wanted to be proven wrong. Like, that's literally why I come on half these spaces, because I learned so much, just like being like, oh shit, yeah, this makes sense. No, so, but the NFT side of this, though, this is way less about like the idea of creating like a, I don't know, Web3 iTunes. And this is more about rewarding fans through NFT technology. And then basically, if it has to do with music or entertainment, they'll be dubbed as music NFTs. Is that kind of the idea there? I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for talking with me on this too. Okay.
That's the thing I'm trying to think of, right? Like, does it just stop at music? Does this go into movies? Does this go into production? Like,
that's
where
what
is
I'm
the
wondering, man.
boundaries?
Yeah,
it does go into movies. I'm not trying to jump over you guys, but yes.
No, go ahead.
I have to, because Darcy Donovan is bringing her NFT project next month, and her project, if you mint different characteristics in the project, it gives you producer rights, it gives you director, residuals. You get different residuals based on the NFT that you hold, and there's a deflationary aspect of it too, where you have a director, you have a writer, as each of the NFTs have a job. They're dogs, but each of them have a job. And if you burn this one, then it gives you that one. And there's only X amount of that one. And then it gives you more rights. It'll give you speaking, a speaking role or a non-speaking role. It'll get your dog in the movie. And if you hold her OG, then it goes up in different layers. And so what she's saying is, I want to find talent across the industry and reward the talent, not just have a producer or a production agency decide, oh, I only want to work with these 5 people, whether they have talent or not. She said, I want to find talent. So if you're a writer, if you're a music producer, if you're a music, anything, her NFTs will get you in the door to do that as well. And I see it's just going to become the beginning of exposure and access to everybody across all genres of entertainment.
I love it.
I definitely have like I said, I have a perspective on mainstream adoption. So right now, what you're seeing is we're on the road to mainstream adoption, right? And then so you got to look and think of the industries that are most prevalent, in mainstream, culture today. And that's by way of music, video games, and entertainment, period, right? So what I would like to do is break down the concept, right? All of these complex concepts, it's too much for mainstream adoption, right? All this staking and tokens and all of these things is too much, right? We approach people to come into Web3 mainstream by making it simple. What's the best utility? What's the utility we can explain? Ownership. Ownership is the real utility in Web 3.0, right? Instead of going to the record shop and buying a record, you just own that particular record. You don't own the rights to it or any of that, right? That is the first utility into Web3. And I think a lot of people are getting confused when it comes to that by adding all of these extra layers on top of extra layers on top of extra layers. When you're talking to somebody in Web 2.0 every day, right? You're not going to talk to them about staking. You're not going to talk to them about passive income. They're not going to understand none of these concepts, because the average person would tell you, if you tell them, hey, if you buy this, you're going to get passive income. The first thing they're going to tell you is, like, how is this not illegal? How am I not going to go to jail? You know what I mean? That's the fight that we're fighting right now, right? So what do you tell them? You tell them ownership is the true utility, right? And then you start there, and then you go forward, and everything else is a bonus. But the ownership is something that we have not had the whole time in Web 2.0.
I don't know if anyone remembers. Oh, I guess Chris's hand's up. My bad.
Dude, I got such a fat mouthful of food. Go for it.
So, I'm old enough. I don't know if anyone else is old enough, but I'm getting a real bad echo. If
Oh, there goes Captain Haiti down there. What's up, Captain Haiti? I was just speaking about you. That's crazy.
So I was buying video games back in the day, buying N64 game, Super Nintendo game, where I owned the game. And then it transferred to this weird digital thing where if the game provider wanted to shut down, they could just turn off the game and it would never work again. Or when the transition from buying CDs, tapes, records to buying these digital assets that not really a digital asset, it was just a song on a web server that if anyone deemed it to not be politically correct, it was just taken away, even if you already bought it. So I look forward to a future where the things you buy are things that you actually own.
I mean, like,
Yeah, it's so.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say digital ownership is the most important, one of the most important aspects about anything that has anything to do with blockchain and NFTs, and why this PFP beta test that we're going through right now is just that. It's just the beta test. That's anything that you could digitally own. Will become an NFT down the road, and so that digital ownership aspect literally is like the most important thing that people need to learn. And it comes with so many things like security and privacy and all sorts of shit that's all part of the education. But again, it's digital ownership. You own your shit, not your keys, not your coins, not your keys, not your cheese. And that includes NFTs, baby.
Not your digital ownership. Digital ownership and ease of transfer ownership as well.
Yeah, digital ownership is the red pill that breaks everybody out of the Web 2 matrix.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think
it's like that's the only way
it's gonna really be the big boom this year too. Music and games. I see more and more. My kids have so much time invested, and I have so much money invested into these games. Being able to have that digital ownership of those assets is going to be crucial moving into 2023.
Yeah, but how many people do we know? How many commercials have you seen on TV recently talking about, the title of someone's home being stolen, or when you go to buy a property or buy a home, the title research is thousands of dollars in that purchase back and forth. When you sell it and when you buy it, it's ridiculous. But if they can put it on the blockchain, it's verifiable, it's proved, and everybody has access to that information. But you can go even further in the event that there's damage to your property from a natural disaster or even anything else, airplane falls out of the sky. You're going to be able to prove that you have coverage in effect, and it's going to be able to be paid immediately. None of this BS 2.5 years later, you're still fighting over the fact that the insurance company owes the policy limits based on your insured risk with their company, and then they go ahead and cancel you right after. No way. It comes across so many different levels and so many different layers when you start explaining to people that instead of just looking at the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, or when she decides to tour, which she doesn't like to do much, but whenever instead of looking at her, you actually own her and you can put her on anything you want, that changes the game. That changes things for a lot of people. And as far as explaining to people how owning it and getting paid residuals and doing whatever, there's a project. It is an ETH project. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Cardano, but Pond Academy through the non-code ducks, they're doing one where you're going to be paid as their quote marketing for having ownership in their NFT project, where you tweet once a month or whatever for the project, then the project is able to pay you residuals. It's a real Web 2 real thing, and they're doing it with bars. They're calling bars in Argentina. in other places. So you're a partial owner. You get paid profits. You get a profit share of it, and it's moving forward. And they're paying you because you're quote helping market or promote their project just through tweeting and just through doing what you normally would do. So the companies, if you don't bridge Web 2 and Web 3, you're not going to survive with Web 3.
Oh, 100%.
One thing that we're doing, I think you brought up a good point, and I should have mentioned this earlier, is we're in the process of bringing fine art to the blockchain. We're working with galleries to onboard different provenances of Van Goghs, Picassos, Monets, Chagall's, Kandinsky's, Rodin's, you name it, onto the blockchain. And the problem is a lot of the gatekeepers, don't want things transitioned onto the blockchain because they don't want it to be traced. But then there's also, people that are doing the right thing all the time that are really eager for this tech to move forward. Like specifically working with the Picasso Foundation, they're like 100% against us doing things, but other foundations are for it. Our platform, we partnered with Niftables to build out our back end of the platform. They're the same ones that built for Disney, Lamborghini, Rolls-Royce. And we're in the process of onboarding galleries that own this fine art. Now, we are built on Ethereum. Doesn't necessarily mean that we can't have Cardano chain NFTs. But
Hey,
it's worth mentioning.
Damon, have you heard of an artist named Kenny Scarf?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so he's worked with Keith Haring and Andy Warhol, very prestigious artist. We actually just had a space with him the other day. He's actually about to launch on Ethereum, so I can actually send you a link to his stuff. I think that would be dope, to get some of his stuff in your exhibit.
Yeah, I guess we've been sort of closed-minded about the project. We've been mainly focusing on old dead masters because a lot of the foundations that authenticate that work are starting to erode, and it's getting more and more difficult to authenticate these pieces because people make it a profession to copy and make a bunch of fraudulent lithographs, and it's becoming more and more of a threat to the old masters artworks that have millions and millions and billions of dollars locked in those assets. But when you're no longer able to authenticate those assets through the foundations that are eroding away, you lose a lot of the wealth holding capability. It's sort of like a URL break where URLs are no longer valid. You saved a URL, you want to go back and check on it, make sure that data is real, and that's just a broken URL link. It's sort of happening real time for art authentication because the people that would authenticate a Monet, they're all 60, 70, 80 years old art professors, and there's not a lot of people that are picking up, I want to be a Monet authenticator. So trying to put artwork on that, or artwork like that on the blockchain, we're pressed against time, but I think it's critically important to add the provenance onto the blockchain to authenticate before it's too late.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had a chance recently to interview a woman who she's a traditional artist in that sense, right, in fine art and stuff. And her whole thing was, they don't really want the pieces on the blockchain, but what they do appreciate and what they really want in the ecosystem that is the fine art is the provability, right? Like, give me some kind of authenticity that this is the actual piece, and then. So it was that aspect, and what was the other one? It was the proof of ownership, right? Man, I've totally forgot the second one. Jesus, it'll come to me. Ken, you got
It's
your
all
hand up.
good. Yeah, essentially, that's sort of the path we've been going down. Is people that are exploring the same space with the NFTs are creating copies of the artworks, and they're selling them as a separate entity, where our purpose is to attach an NFT to the original. So the NFT and the original are always something that moves together, and they're never separated, to prove that everything is 100% authentic. We go in with 8K cameras. We do 3D scans of the artwork, so you can manipulate it, rotate it, see Picasso's thumbprint in the artwork, or the brush strokes on the canvas. That high definition quality that you would expect from some of our members on our team used to work for Pixar. Just, a lot of cool things that we're doing. We're just looking to onboard more galleries, and we are paying. If you happen to bring in a gallery that's interested in getting their artwork all authenticated and turned into one of one NFTs that attach to the physical, we're paying 10% of that entire gallery's buyer's premium. So, average gallery is like 500 million. So, it's nice for anybody that's interested in the art community and that wants to provide more longevity to the art industry. We're always looking for more help.
Will you
but overall, I think
will you
no
fractionalize?
fractionalization.
None of it? No.
Yeah, no fractionalization. It's a 1-to-1. So that means if you buy a 3D NFT that we did of a Monet, the gallery agrees to send you the Monet. So the NFTs are going to be priced accordingly to what the physical asset is priced to, plus, whatever our costs were to mint that and make it are added to the NFT. So, there's a little bit of overhead that we build into the NFT cost, but I think it adds a lot of security and fortification for people that want to invest in art in the future, and allows new liquidity to enter that market from the crypto space. So people don't have to convert from dollars or from crypto into dollars to purchase physical art anymore. They can purchase art with USDC, BUSD, UST, whatever they want to do, and purchase art. So we're adding multiple different liquidity methods, as well as authentication, and proof of ownership. So
do you have to KYC for any of that, or say you've got some legacy Bitcoin that's never been attached to you? Can you just buy some art with it?
Right now, we don't have the KYC filter built in.
Perfect.
It is something that when you purchase the NFT, after a set amount of time, you're prompted to enter your shipping address. We give built into our code right now, we're giving the time to flip your Monet NFT. Say you buy a Monet NFT and you're like, oh man, I can probably flip this for a 30% return in the next 2 weeks. We give you a 2-week time window to try to flip that to somebody else. But after that 2 weeks, whoever's holding the NFT will get a notification, says, hey, enter your address for shipping. The gallery will send out the artwork. If they don't enter their artwork or their address, all transactions are reversed and the NFT goes back on chain. So there's a short lockup period that allows people to try to flip it. But as soon as that 2-week time window's up, it will automatically ask you to enter your mailing address wherever you want, your $50 million Monet to be sent.
Yeah, fuck, dude. That's a flip right there, man. Jesus.
Yeah. So, you definitely, whatever address they're entering, I think that's pretty KYC enough.
Yeah.
To where, someone's taking ownership at that address at a set time, and they're going to coordinate with the gallery to make sure that they get that piece.
Can you send it to a UPS store?
you could, yeah.
You send it to a holding agency's address, and then you have them coordinate to deliver it.
You could do whatever you want.
Send it to
but
a
that's going to be
hotel.
between the gallery and
Send it to a
the
hotel
gallery and the new owner.
Yep. There's ways to do this, guys.
Damon, I actually got a question for you. Since you pretty much been dealing with buyers from Web 2 and Web 3, like how are people seeing the buyers from Web 2.0? How are they seeing the Web 3.0 space as far as NFTs? Because I know we got a lot of like art enthusiasts and art collectors of fine art. I would kind of figure that maybe their view is kind of different when it comes to Web 3.0 NFTs and fine art NFTs. What have you experienced as far as their perspective on what we're doing over here?
Major pushback. They're all afraid that we're going to fractionalize their owners. A lot of practices that we've done in the space for people that don't have a lot of liquidity to try to allow more people to enter into high value items is frowned upon by the upper echelon of individuals in this type of class. And they're afraid that it degrades the value of the assets that they're trying to sell. So, a lot of the assets, we've come to realize we shouldn't have a price listed for assets. We should have it's sort of like our prices are hidden. And if your bid goes above the ask price, then you get it. But if it's below the ask price, nothing happens. So, things like that to maintain value and integrity of pieces are something that this caliber of individual likes to see. But fractionalization, breaking down assets, removing the actual physical asset from the equation, they've been against. But when it comes to breaking it down, how I've broken it down for you guys today in this chat, their eyes start to widen, and they start to see the bigger picture. And then we start to show them the different ways that they can unlock liquidity from showcasing their gallery in a world market, as opposed to having individual buyers just have to walk into their store or get an art broker that speaks the language of that art gallery. Maybe a buyer's in Dubai and they want a piece, but they don't know where it's at. That process to track it down. So offering a world market, the ability to see world-class art anywhere in the world, and adding liquidity from worldwide markets. Money talks in this industry, and a lot of people are starting to see that.
Let's go.
Definitely was talking for Sam.
Heck yeah. Well, that was sweet. That's probably
Kenton's arm is about to fall off. He has not been able to talk. I don't know. He's the polite one in the room.
Kenton.
Your mama raised you right, dude.
Kenton, go for it.
It's fine. I'm kind of like, I don't mind. I'm just kind of holding it up because I do want to contribute, but this conversation is good. The speakers are all good. Everyone's got some really interesting takes. I'm kind of like, The whole art talk is really interesting too. I can't really add much there. I mean, talking about fine art and everything is really a wild concept. I did want to introduce this, and I'm kind of asking this as a social experiment question, but how much value do we see in having a tangible asset that is reflected or reflects a digital asset on a blockchain? And a really easy way of explaining this would be, what if the Mona Lisa was created on the blockchain first? Like someone created, the digital version. We'll call it the Lisa Mona. So the Lisa Mona is the flipped version, and it's a monkey version of the Mona Lisa, okay? And they put it on the blockchain first. But then the same person who puts it on the blockchain gets that, what's it called? The RFID chip. What's the name of the chip, guys, that can also be linked to the blockchain? Sorry, somebody help me.
And it's NFC, RFID.
Thank you. Thank you, Damon. Yeah, so those chips that can also be traced to the blockchain. So let's say you just put that chip in the woodwork of a physical painting that reflected or was just literally a print, like a really fancy print of the Lisa Mona. Again, this is all metaphorical, but like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, would there be value in that physical, tangible product? And would like the original owner hold on to that? Would they auction it off for more? Would that accrue a crazy price and just sell on like the normal tangible goods market for an inflated rate? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if that's going to start to be a connection that takes place. Anyone with any thoughts on that, please go ahead.
Well,
yeah, we're doing that. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Damon.
No, you good.
So we've already gone down that road, and what we found is NFC chips, RFID, whatever the case, are for people that are outside the tech industry. They seem super cool, super high tech. I mean, these are also the same people that are just finding out like QR codes are a thing though, and they're only forced to find that out because all the restaurants are making them scan the tables to view the menu now. So there's essentially a NFC chip is just a glorified URL link, and the problem has been that NFC chips that can be flashed and can be manipulated to redirect to any link. Now, our problem has been trying to find an encryption software that allows the NFC chips not to be flashed that we can trust. And we do plan on attaching NFC chips to the physical artwork to make sure that it's always authenticated. But we haven't found a specific provider that we trust yet.
And I was just gonna add to to your question there, I'm a huge antique collector, and in the future, how easy it would be for us to be able to quickly identify, the pieces, because there's so many fakes and frauds that are put out, on a regular basis. I think that, for moving into the future, I think it would be a great help, to being able to identify these things, because at the end of the day, there's no value, right? It's only what somebody's willing to pay somebody for something else, so being able to quickly, authenticate that, but Mom was speaking on, about, with home ownership and stuff. I think all of that, lends itself to making this process easier, and really lends to the whole peer-to-peer, aspect of the blockchain.
Well, if
To,
you can,
to answer Kenton's question, you were asking how would it be if they were to start on the blockchain, the Mona Lisa, right? So if it were to start on the blockchain, would it be as popular as it is today? Not sure about that. It would really depend on the narrative, right? If the narrative was that the Mona Lisa, the Lisa Mona, was the first fine art piece on the blockchain, right? And it had the chip, then I think it would be as popular as it is today. Maybe even be more popular. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, we're speaking hypothetically, but in the sense of the narrative, I could see it becoming more popular because it's international. Of course, we would need mainstream adoption for crypto in general for it to get as big. But yeah, it would have a good shot depending on the narrative. Now, if it just came blockchain randomly, without that narrative, I don't think it would get as popular, honestly.
How could you authenticate if you go to look at the Mona Lisa today? How do you know that it's the real Mona Lisa? How do you know that that's not, 6 times forged over? So, I mean, an NFC chip, in the first Lisa Mona would be extremely valuable. And I think the value of art starts to quintuple once you're able to fully authenticate value without any reasonable doubt. So, I mean, that's my take on it.
but isn't that how it goes with collectibles? Because I mean, think about, every year Corvette #1 that comes off the line, it goes to a private sale, someone has it, it goes into a warehouse somewhere, no one ever sees it, it's never driven. 20 something years later, it comes up for auction, it goes for some ungodly amount of money because it's never been touched, it's never been driven, no one's ever seen it. So we know these things, this happens. So Warren Sapp has brought his NFT project as well. They're signed, authenticated by him. It's a limited number. It's all of this other aspects as well. He's Hall of Fame. It's got all the records attached to it. It's got all the stigma. He's the first guy. It's the 20th anniversary of a Super Bowl win. I mean, like, you start going through the list of all those things. Collectors, they start looking at it going, whoa, wait a minute. They start paying attention, and then they're like, wait a minute, this was minted to this wallet and hasn't moved. And they're like, okay, so what warehouse did it get stuck? So those are all things that people start paying attention to, and collectors really pay attention to. How many owners has it had? Sorry, how many chances have there been for a kid to, spill milk on it, or, bend the edges of the card, of the collectible card, because they're a kid. But in the blockchain, it sits in a wallet, and the digital ownership is there, and the track record is provable. Just like with the Lisa Mona, how are we going to prove that the Mona Lisa sitting in the Louvre is actually the original? We don't know. Like, and the number one thing that is the most knocked off thing in the world is fine art. And it's the original masters. Their artwork is the most, I don't want to use a nasty word, but they're the most, just abused artwork out there, because they've been studied for so long. The techniques have been divulged. All of that stuff is going on. So they're, the fakers, just like the scammers in crypto, the fakers in the fine art world, they're really good. They're not stupid, and they spend a lot of time working on their craft. So being able to attach the blockchain to fine artwork will be a game changer. Whoever does it first, like you said, they're the one that's going to, I mean, think about it, right? CryptoPunks, does anybody really love it? No.
Nope.
It's the first one, right? It's the first one, and that's why people want it.
And
So
I think
the
that
first fine art that's on chain will love it.
Yeah, and I think that also, brings up the point about royalties and stuff too. And that was the second point that this lady was talking to me about, and that I had forgot about a few minutes ago, was royalties, because there's some guy who's been trying to solve this since the 80s with traditional art, and it's just, with how much forgeries there are in this industry, like, it's almost impossible to do that. But that's, if you were to build it on the blockchain first, then you've got a royalty system that rewards these artists in perpetuity. So, if it does, like you said, Mama Bear, gets sold 10 times down the line, that artist that put all their blood, sweat, and tears, or whatever into that piece of art that so many people have enjoyed, will continue to receive that royalty, or at least their estate will, if they've passed. So
here's a screwball on everything, right? What if the Mona Lisa could be altered by future artists, right? And I think that this is another aspect of design, digital design, that can be implemented. And then later on, you were speaking about the spilled milk on the cards. What about later on if physical renders are then issued to future generations? Like, that's why I try to explain to people, like, the tech is moving so fast, right? And the ideas are coming even faster. And then, like, the marrying of the two, what we conceive as your typical standard NFT, what we're accustomed to, it's probably maybe even a year or so down the road, maybe totally altered and different. I know we were speaking with Raspy from a kid called Beast, and his whole thing is to create a digital rendering and then advertise it to get a sponsorship with a product brand like Louis Vuitton. So how does that add to the digital collectible scenes for the future generations? Like, there's a lot of compounding interest that you can actually attach to this. Can you imagine if Virgil, right before he passed away, did a digital rendering collab, which will allow for another future fashion artist great to be able to add to or modify? Like, that is some unhistorical precedence that we're talking about 1,000 years down the road, right? Because this is blockchain technology, it's immutable. And I think that once artists start to grasp hold of the realization of that, it's really going to start to pry some eyes open to the future implications of what it means to actually render digital art or physical art.
do you think that the need for that physical is just the old way of thinking? It's just the old mentality?
I believe with sensory technology, a lot of the advantages that we're going to have on the forefront they're already in the works, is going to totally reconfigure the way that we actually view what is physical, what is unphysical, what is tangible, what is untangible. Like, it's really going to morph and manipulate that, and it's going to bring a new party, a new interest, a new school of thought to wait. This is the way of things, right? Like if everything is going to be augmented based real time information, then why wouldn't art be the same?
Agreed.
I mean, if you look at what's going on right now, we've slowly been transitioned in that direction, right? I mean, when a lot of people go to work and they get paid through digital, right? So we've already been kind of conditioned to look at a physical asset is more valuable than a physical asset, because we're using digital assets to purchase physical things. So it already has become the latter already in our minds. We're just not like really thinking about it like that. So with us already thinking that digital is more valuable than physical, you know what I mean? Imagine what else. I mean, somebody can go buy a yacht with a card, like slide a card to buy a yacht.
That's crazy.
So we're already there.
I didn't mean to cut you off. That's crazy to think you could use a card to buy a yacht.
Oh, you can.
I bet. You need a black card.
If you think about it, you're not actually using a card. You're not actually using a card. So this is the thing. Visa approves. So this is one of the things that I love about getting nerdy in is if you look at what Elrond chain is doing, if you look at what Elrond is able to do and capable to do, and the volume that they're able to actually settle versus what Visa is approving. There's a reason your credit card bill or whatever has a 45-day, give or take a day or two, settlement time frame on it, is because they approve it and then it takes X amount of time. They use your money, they use whatever they're doing, and they're making ungodly amount profits, and then they're adding that on to you 45 days later. It's being settled. So blockchain technology, you already know the speeds, but when you're looking at like Elrond with what they're able to actually settle in seconds, it's unbelievable. So the card is not actually what is making the purchase. It is the electronic approval that's making the purchase. It's this bank is saying, yes, they have enough credit available to do. And then 45 days later, it'll settle and it'll transfer. So anytime in that time frame, you really could be foobarred in the event that you have to come up with a title or a deed or whatever it may be. They can just revoke your payment and you're up poop creek, literally. So with blockchain, it's immediate, it's settled, you're done, it's ready to go. And that puts the power of all of this in the hand of the owner and in the hand of the people, especially when it comes to fine art and collectibles, because whoever it is that brokers that collectible deal, they get a residual, they get a this, they also get to control who comes into the gallery to purchase, they get to control who gets approved to buy that item. So if you don't make above $10 million annually, income, you're not even in on the gallery to be able to see it, much less have a chance to buy it. So it's it's keeping everybody in the don'ts. You don't have this, you don't have that, and it's keeping you out, and it's letting only the elite of the elite in to do, where the blockchain is the level playing field, because it's none of your business what I have offline in a ledger. It's none of your business what I have offside. I can do what I want with it, and it's none of your business. So how do you know that I can't buy something? You don't know that. And I love it. I love the moxie that it gives to people, and I love the power, the confidence of, you don't know what I'm worth, because just because you can't see it in my bank account doesn't mean I'm not worth a lot.
Mama Bear energy, crazy. She came through with that. Shout out to Mama Bear. She's
Absolutely
not playing.
I love Mama.
Never.
Mama Bear. I got a chance to meet her when we were hanging out with the Lazy Lion groups. We got a chance to actually hang out in New York too during NFT NYC. And Mama Bear is like the real deal. She's so cool, amazing person, great soul, and has just an amazing perspective on everything that is Web3. I am so happy that you're part of this community, Mama Bear. I'm so happy that everyone is part of this community, and I'm thankful that everyone came here today to hang out and chat and provide input and perspective. This was pretty dope. Y'all are pretty awesome. Typically, we run these things Monday through Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. But when the conversation is fire, ain't no way I'm shutting it down. But I do appreciate everybody being here and listening. Is there anything anybody else wants to add to the conversation today? Or
well, I did send a few invites to some Cardano projects that kind of got an interest on me. Like I've been in tech and Cardano for quite some time, and on-chain gaming is something that doesn't get too much attention. And I know that my buddy Hookworm, which I have the privilege of just running across randomly because I follow a lot of people. Like that's one of the benefits of following a lot of people. You get to see what's going on in the community. Hookworm is a creator who's created an on-chain gaming where you can actually play on-chain on Cardano, and that's something like for the advancement of tech. I got an amazing. We got projects like the Apprentice in here. I see Charles Token. You got to start some stars in the building when it comes to NFT projects on Cardano. So if anybody has any questions about what we're doing on the blockchain, I'd love to get some of these projects up here and let's get this cross-chain conversation going.
I love it. Hey, really quick, and I do, if I would love to get into more of that for sure. And I do have a question because I do have some music guys in the house, and and it's funny, Kenton, you had said the other day, like, hate to be the guy that says like 45 minutes ago we were talking about this, but about 45 minutes ago we were talking about music NFTs, and I had actually pulled up an article of something that I had seen, and so we can flip flop back and forth. But I do want to get the music guys' perspective on this because I think it's important. Warner Music Group, they're going to release a music NFT platform through Legend on Polygon, and while I think that's great and all, Warner Music Group is one of those companies that is very guilty of having predatory contracts for their artists. So you don't give them a free pass because they joined Web3. What do you guys think about this stuff? Awesome.
We got to be careful. I would just say, I want to say this because my buddy Crypto Cash, funny that you mentioned this, Jay Chains. I was just in the space for Crypto Cashly, and there was a project that was building like an NFT project, and it was supposed to be like a launch pad for artists, and you can stream your music on there, and they wind up sneaking inside of the terms and conditions that you basically surrendered all your musical rights, and they can use it throughout the perpetuity of the universe, the Dave Chappelle spiel. So we definitely have to be conscientious of, and this is my number one argument when it comes to, major centralized entities, like the adaptation and the rate that we want the approval. Like, keep in mind, everything comes with a sacrifice, right? And that's in crypto in general. If it's scalability is going to be security, you're going to have it. If it's security, you're going to light down scalability. So it's these interconnecting webs that we transition into that we should probably be mindful of and really need to have some focus in literary education. I'm sorry about that. My tongue got tied.
No, y'all good, man. Awesome. What do you think, man?
I'm along the lines. I'm a side with AI on this, man. I definitely, and I know probably a lot of musicians may have been in some kind of deals in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it's management contracts or whatever, right? Yeah, man, you got to do your homework, especially when it comes to entities such as Warner coming into Web3. They're not just coming here to kumbaya. Like, that's the first thing we need to look at. They're not here for that. I'm telling you that now. So yeah, be wary, do your research. Please do your research before you sign. I don't care if it's digital paperwork, NDAs, whatever. Please do your due diligence before you start jumping on these platforms. These platforms are not like Apple Music and Spotify. We kind of been dealing with them for a little while. But these are going to go to the next level, man. And yeah, they're aiming to, I know for a fact, they're aiming to take the sovereignty away from people, which we work so hard for in Web 3.0. That's why we're here. You know what I mean? A lot of us are here. That's why we're here so early, to claim our sovereignty and to build our own brands ourselves. And, if we want to partner with brands, that's fine. That's cool, to help our brand go up. But yeah, these type of things, please do your research before you jump into them, because they're not here to play fair or play nice at all.
Absolutely. And you know, like it's even that same kind of thing, you know, if you look at the crypto industry and people had been bitching and moaning, oh, we need institutional money in here. We need pump my bags. Well, you guys saw what happened when those assholes came in here, right? Like the people from the Web2 world, they don't play nice. They're just gonna come in here and try to screw it up even worse than they screwed up the last system. So like what Awesome said, man, if you're looking at contracts, if you're onboarding people, whatever you're doing, man, make sure that you're reading everything that's happening, because there is a fine line between your digital identity and your in real life identity. And you certainly, and even with that app, what the heck was it, the AI picture thing, you know, if you read the terms and conditions, like they can use they can use that stuff whenever and for whatever. And so yeah, those pictures were super dope and everybody loved it. I didn't take them because I'm not signing away my digital identity to anyone. If anybody's going to monetize that, if anybody's going to use that, that is me, and that is Web3, and that's what people got to know. You got this is it. Like digital ownership, self-ownership, self-sovereignty. Like, don't let them hold your hand anymore. Like, you have to figure that out for yourself, and that's all part of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as Warner Brothers stepping into Web3 and whatnot, I think it's egregious. I think it's treacherous. Watch your goddamn backs.
Oh, there he is. Casual's here.
Casually popped in, and you know, and the good thing, it's on Polygon, right? I like Polygon. I like Matic. I think that the coin, as far as making money, guys, in the next cycle, I plan, and this is not financial advice, I plan to make a bunch of money with Polygon and Matic. But if you look at the NFT scene, and if you've got an Ethereum wallet, and you all of a sudden you notice all these stupid shitty NFTs that pop into your wallet, they're all on Polygon. Why? Because it's really cheap and it's really easy to do scams on it. So, you know, I think, you know, Warner probably could have done a better job of maybe picking a better blockchain, but it is great. It is fast. But I think we need to weed out some of the scams that happen on that blockchain before we put, you know, any kind of eggs in any basket over there. That's my hot take. What's up, Casually? Hey, messed up the microphone.
He rugged.
Man, come on, man.
Crypto Casually GM.
What's happening?
There we go. There we go. There we go.
I was just telling them about that music situation you were talking about, like for the Web3 platform, and they were like, oh, "It's not funny, but it's funny because it's crazy. Like people are literally the predatory nature of these you know entities, and how you got to be careful. You know, I was just telling about the situation that happened yesterday with the music platform, the Web3 music platform, and signing over rights.
Talking about Sound XYZ.
I don't even want to throw the name up there.
I was just looking at them too. What's going on with them crypto?
Yeah, talk about it, man. Let's hear what's going on, because it's like if there's something bad going on, and the people in the industry got to know.
Well, loose lips sink ships, so I'm ziplocking this bitch. But do your own research. But allegedly, they had factored into their paperwork, like, I don't know, 14 pages in, I think it was, or something, if I remember, that they could assume.
Nice.
Hey, Crypto, you
cover the mic.
You got low. You got cut out.
You covered up the microphone on your
powers that be.
Yeah, you got rugged. So it sounds like a situation where in a contract there was some language, whether it was exclusivity rights, or now we can hear you. Was it exclusivity rights, or what did they try to get you with?
Yeah, there was exclusivity rights where they could assume your work.
Man, for someone who spends a lot of time on a microphone, you don't know how to use a microphone, huh?
Oh man, bro.
Wish somebody teach him how to use a mic. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Got him.
He looks like he hopped out. I'm sure he'll hop back in here in a second. But that that's stuff you got to be looking at, man. People are going to try to squeeze some language in there that they're going to try to take advantage. It's something that I think that we can all learn. If there's money at stake, if there's a lot of money at stake, greed will always play a factor. So you got to watch yourself, man. Watch your six. Isn't that what it's called?
I mean, yeah, they have a PhD in how to screw you. right? They have a PhD in how to take care of them and a
love Mama
PhD in
Bear.
how to screw you. And I do, people tell you, oh, watch out, be careful, be cautious. People are going to build their own brands and people are going to invest in themselves, but they want to make it look like they're team players and they're going to help you.
Right.
When in reality, it's all a PhD and screw you. And that is the part that I'm like, look, if you're going to help somebody, just straight help somebody. And if you're not going to help somebody, just tell them, look, I can't be bothered. You're cool and all, but I'm all about screw you. So just be truthful. That's the part that I can't take. And I love that about the blockchain because it doesn't lie, right? It doesn't lie.
It doesn't. And you can't fake it. Well, unless you're SBF, and you can try.
I think that game's over, J Chains. I don't think they're gonna be able to do that one much more.
That's it. But where'd that money go? Where's all that money?
It's in a ledger somewhere.
Imagine if that's like, you know what that ends up being? That's the fucking oasis, right? And that's the prize. All of a sudden, there's going to be some announcement when we're living in the metaverse. Attention. Wait. Hang on a second. Let me do this. Attention. This is Justin. I am obviously the president of the entire world at this point. I want to let you know that we have hidden a ledger with $50 billion on it somewhere in the world, and you will be given some instructions, and it's a race to find it, and if you find it, it is yours.
It's Ready Player One.
It's Ready Player One, man.
Purge commence.
This is how it's all gonna happen. It's gonna be this with Hunger Games all together. It's gonna be murder for the ledger.
Murder for the ledger. $50 million.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to say this has been a really entertaining and informative space once again, J Chains and everyone on board. And also encouraging words in regards to anyone that's building. We're building during this time, and it's obviously the market is down, but I'll say this: if you're building, they will come. I just had a meeting with probably he's considered the best defensive player to ever play, and he reached out to us.
Dick Butkus.
During this down market. No, he's a little old school.
William the Refrigerator Barry.
The greatest of all time on defense.
Mike Singletary. Top Bears.
Talk about Al Bundy.
Al Bundy. Maybe Al Bundy.
The biggest couch potato.
At Polk High, yeah. But no, I just wanted to encourage everyone, if you build it, they will come. And this is a great time to build, everyone.
I love it, man. And if you guys have, if you're, that was Moonwalker's Moon Daddy, RC, as I know him. If you do not know what they do, make sure that you give them a follow. Working with Warren Sapp, bringing probably, arguably, one of the best defensive linemen ever in the history of the NFL, bringing some of his precious moments to life here in the Web3 world and NFT collection. So check that out. That is minting now, correct? And then you guys are going to be doing another mint in a couple of weeks at a different price point.
Correct, good sir. We're loading up the championship sign, which are a little pricey at 0.99 ETH, which we understand. But a year ago we were launched these at $3,200. So it's just we don't discount the art, but at the same time we do have a different price point, and it was planned. We want everyone to have access to the NFT line. So,
yeah.
Yes.
Well, it really makes sense. 0.99. I mean, we've seen projects, mint for much more than that, but 0.99 was his number. And so there's like really some meaning behind it, and there's some, significance to it. And there's like some really, really dope things hopefully coming down the pipeline that, really kind of put it all in perspective. So.
Yeah, it's funny. A fishing trip, we're planning it now. So you talk about utility, it continues to evolve every day.
Yeah, and guys, if you make sure that you get on these spaces, talking about that project, because listen, like literally, like over the evolution of 3 spaces, like we incubated like this idea of a fishing trip. Am I rugging?
Oh, you bet.
Okay. But these spaces have just been so awesome. Talking about fishing with Warren Sapp, it has just been super cool. So make sure you guys check that out.
Putting the face of the brand is very important, and then that's what I really love about the project in itself is like having that conversation with Warren Sapp, and then also like the added, like being able to have a one-on-one talk. I think that's pretty cool, especially for sports fans. Like being able to take somebody back to that moment. You know, he was talking about, I think, his rotator cuff being broken, like in the space, and it's just like those stories. Like that's the parallel of what I talk about when I say NFT, like actually captivating the moments and, you know, those historical points in time, and like being able to get that exposure to the community and to your fans. I think is, to a collector, is someone that's true. Like my boy TB is a straight Bucks fans. Like that's his team. And you know, we were talking about it the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, man, it's like that's where we want this technology to go. That's where we want people to get the exposure, that level of exposure, you know, and be able to show your friends. Yeah, I spent $1,000 on the NFT, but I went to 4 or 5 events, and I was able to gain access to it, or I was able to have a one-on-one chat with this individual. Like you can't put a price on those kind of moments, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I really feel like that's going to be the over resounding value in NFTs when we all step away from it and look back, and we look back at this period of history and time. That'll be the true discovery in my eyes. Like the record, the massive amounts of achievement in your points throughout the history. Like no one realized they're making history until history is made, right? Like it's just doing something in the moment. And then you look back and we're all like, oh my God, we were making history, right? But it wasn't like that during that time. But I see Firebender with his hand up as well. We have a
Good
saying.
morning, everyone.
We have a saying in Cardano, when you leave your hand up too long, and we call it epochs because we get paid like every 5 days through staking to the network. It's our reward. So anytime somebody's got their hand up, we're like, man, they had their hand up for a whole epoch.
No, I just wanted to kind of tap back into the music conversation. If anyone is working with any of those labels, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3, make sure that you have yourself an entertainment lawyer, because that's going to save you a lot of trouble. You know, don't just take their word and their litigation. Make sure that you have yourself a representative that can help you understand the language that they're trying to, you know, confuse to you, so that you can take the worst deal as possible. So make sure that even if you're an independent artist and you're working at Web3, if one of these big companies reach out to you, make sure that you're covered on your end as well.
Smart. Always have. Oh yeah. If you don't understand, like, listen, I've read 1,000 contracts. I'm under about 100 different NDAs. There are some language that even I don't understand when you read these things. And so just to have someone read it over for you, like what, there's nothing wrong with that. Find yourself someone that is an attorney. Obviously that is your best case scenario. And so it's not even just about music. Literally it's about anything. You create content. I get contracts thrown at me. I sometimes don't even understand half the words in them. And so, you know, thankfully I've got a lawyer that can take a look at that stuff for me and make sure that I'm not signing my life away for something that is not worth it.
And that's the number one thing I think we really got to kind of start like tackle here in Web3 is like breaking that barrier of legal entry, because like we have so many creative minds, right? But you don't want to get caught up in the entanglement of what if I do something and then it's a security attached to it, or this, that, the third, or being able to read these contracts like you were expressing, right? Like we're going to run into a case where it's just artists who are just purely solely artists. Like they don't care about NFTs, they don't care. But I'm just being honest with people, and it's like they just like to create. And it's like, how do we institute like these, or have institutions? Because you're gonna have some sort of centralized mechanism, and even in the land of decentralization, it's gonna lead back to the centralized platform for the time being until we transition into these next levels of smart contracting, right? Like who's there to safeguard these individuals? Like we're onboarding and we're bringing them in, but are we leading them to the slaughter? Like where does that where do these, you know, these fundamental pieces that actually secure and make people more fundamentally sound and saying, hey, let me go ahead and release my art Web3 via Web3, because now I know I have this level of security, and I just don't see, I haven't seen, maybe somebody can point it out to me, but I haven't really seen these big entities that are actually moving in the narrative to help protect Web3 legislation, the artists that are interested.
Yeah, I love that you said that. And why I love that you say that, and I kind of been hitting at some things over the last couple, you know, maybe the week or so in some of these spaces, having some really formalized conversations with some people in the back channels. And I think I hit on it yesterday. You know, there's a couple of us that are really, our goal right now is to put together a massive community focused and driven media company that is literally built from the ground up from Web3 community members so that we can create that voice. And so, we've got people in the music industry, people in the digital creation industry, people in the medical industry, all that stuff, so that we can create the narrative that it needs to be. And really have like a singular voice. And so, I implore anybody that wants to be involved in this, like there are people that I see sitting in the crowd. I've already got you penciled in on my squad, kind of where I think where I think you fit in. But if this sounds like something that you'd want to do, and again, like my goal is to make this on a very massive scale. And so, like, everybody that's a part of it, and maybe it's a DAO, maybe it's not. I have no fucking idea how we structure it all. But the whole idea is to make sure that this is a community focused and community driven function, because that's what we need. Because then, if we're the one that, we've got the right voice, we've got the right message, and that's what goes to the onboarding people. Come on, man. Like, that's how they get on. This way we're not talking above them, we're not talking below them, we're sending the right tone. And it's the whole education onboarding process, I think, would be a lot smoother if we had everybody working together versus against each other, thinking that like you have to listen to what I say. No, let's create the message, and it's what we say. And I think that's the whole message and embodiment of Web3. At least that's what I think. That's what I hope.
Yeah, totally. Which is, takes me back to the, the PhD and screw you. So there's no I in team, but there is an at me. And in Web3, it's all about we and how we three and how we are going to move forward. And if you're not connected to a larger group of people, there are entities out with their PhDs ready to, make it happen and screw you over.
Absolutely. So make sure that you guys are doing your research. Make sure that you are surrounding yourselves with the right people that have your best interests in mind. This has been a fantastic space. And again, I appreciate everybody. I got my, obviously this is the cue music. If you can hear it, give me a thumbs up. I love this feature, man. Yeah, so we can go out with an outro, a little bit of a tunage there, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate you. This has been a fantastic space. Usually, again, we run these things an hour. This has been just about 2 hours. So I can't thank you enough for hanging out with us and being a part of this conversation. This is exactly the entire point of this space, is for our community to get together and talk about things that matter to us and how we can make a change and how we can build something that works for us and that works for our future generations. I got a 1.5-year-old almost daughter that, Web3 and blockchain and crypto, that's the ecosystem she's growing up in. And so I want to build something that works for her and that works for your kids in futures to come. So guys, thank you again. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. So have yourself a great rest of your day and do something cool. And we'll see you tomorrow.